Gratitude, greetings, and good evening, everyone. So, today I am very excited to have this conversation where we uncover the secrets of speaking and leading with authority and influence and impact. So, today we have incredible Kamina with us. She is a communication strategist and she also transformed countless corporate lives. So, welcome, Kavina. How are you?
Hi, Shipra. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing, Shipra?
I am very, very good.
Great. Lovely to hear.
Great. Yes. So, Kavina, what inspired you to specialize as a communication strategist, and how has your journey shaped your perspective on leadership?
Wonderful. Thank you, Shipra, for asking that question because my journey has been nothing short of being very passionate about the topic that I always talk about, which is communication, strategic communication. So I work and I'm responsible for people at work. I work on autonomous driving where my team members are super talented when it comes to technical skills. We work on artificial intelligence and machine learning. They are extremely talented. But what happens is when it comes to presenting the work that they have done,
Right.
everything takes a backseat. So then I realized that when it comes to the key performance in teams, in business, communication is the key differentiator. So that is when my whole journey started. As I mentioned, I'm also responsible for people. So I started
Right.
coaching them, not just being a manager, but I assumed the role of a coach for my team members. And hence the journey started of
Right.
becoming a communication strategist. I understood that communication is not just about fluency or words or being
Hmm.
going about and talking few words, but it is all about how strategically we communicate. Hence, the journey started, and here I am in front of you.
Exactly. So, it's a beautiful journey that you shared. And, Kavina, how do you help corporate professionals to develop an authority and influence in their communication?
Absolutely. So, when it comes to speaking with authority, impact, influence, there's this key
Hmm.
difference. When I talk about authority, it is about how much credibility that you own on the topic that
Right.
you are talking. It could be technical topic, it could be
Hmm.
leadership, it could be management. So,
Hmm.
it is all about how you communicate and come across as a credible professional. That is one.
Hmm.
Influence is to shape the actions and thoughts and behavior of
Right.
other people. And
Hmm.
impact is to actually bring out action in people.
Action
So
in people.
if I have to largely put right, I
Hmm.
only tell people that think strategically before you start communicating. So that's something that I
Exactly.
teach. This is the first step.
Hmm.
The second step
Hmm.
that I tell is that when you talk about authority, impact, influence, there's various frameworks that I talk about in my
Hmm.
LinkedIn reels and stories in YouTube, where I talk
Right.
about the frameworks such as headline communication model or that
Hmm.
5 second pause rule or the power ladder technique. So it is
Hmm.
basically that there are a lot of frameworks available. You just have to pick and choose what framework that you will have to use when you're communicating and what is that you want to encourage. Do you want to encourage action
Exactly.
or do you want to
Hmm.
inspire or influence? So
Hmm.
that's something that I would generally be teaching people and helping them communicate better.
Hmm. Right. So this is really very important thing which you shared, na? Difference between influence, impact, and authority. Right.
Yes, of
And
course.
what's the biggest mistake that people make while trying to lead with impact through their words?
Absolutely. One of the biggest mistake that I commonly see is that communication is to be assumed that I speak and you will receive. What we are
Right.
not checking is it received with the same intention and purpose that I
Hmm.
intended to communicate. So that is one major thing that I would encourage all of them to do, and that's not something which is happening currently. Another thing that I wanted to tell is the internal communication and external communication. We right now do not understand what it is. It is all about trying and understanding what is that outcome that we want to create. Like for example, you did mention about creating authority, impact, and influence. So the first idea is that what am I trying to do here? What is that outcome that I desire? So that's all in internal communication. Second is to understand who is that audience, what are their needs, how should I be communicating? If I am in a meeting, are we in a brainstorming meeting? Are we in a status oriented meeting? What type of meeting, and what is that other person would require? Do they need my
mm,
ideas, or do they
mm,
need my status update? So trying and
mm,
understanding the audience, and then internal communication, one of the third part is
mm.
that try and you internalize the message that you want to create in your mind
Right.
first. Bring out
Mm.
that clarity and key messaging with the
Exactly.
purpose, and
Mm.
then go into external communication, which is
Then.
that you we open our mouth and then utter those words, right? So
Right.
internal communication is super important, and that's where the strategic communication actually happens. So this is something that
Mm.
I generally tell people, and I see that
Mm.
we all make a lot of mistakes when it comes to communication in these
Mm.
aspects.
Mm. Right. So this is, I think, you said now, which is very important. That the thing which we have, internal communication which we have, and then we say, is really very
True.
important. So, Kavina, can you share a transformation story of a client who has got us or seen a significant change in their career growth?
Absolutely. The one which is very close to me, Shipra, is actually a person that I was working in Toastmasters community, came across
Okay,
as a
wow.
very a nice friend of mine. So generally, what I do is, as I did mention, I'm not just a manager
Mm,
but the coach. So I
mm,
was assuming the role of president of a community
mm,
club that I was a part of. So as a
mm,
president, I had taken up the responsibility to coach my committee members. They call it excom, executive committee members. So I go on and help them achieve better heights at their professional levels, because this is a non-profit organization that we are all a part of. So during this journey, I had been helping people, but this person, one day I still remember I was sitting at office sipping coffee, and he sent me a image, and what I saw really shocked me. It had a mention that you are fired due to your inadequate performance. And that really shocked me. I said, okay, this is not happening to one of my friend, to my co-executive committee member. And then I took up it in me that I'm going to coach this person until he gets a job and he will become a better performer. And that was a journey that I have taken. He was
mm.
unemployed for a few months, and then he got
Okay.
employed again. His case was very
Mm,
different. He was an Indian working
mm,
overseas, and
mm,
hence we were connecting every day, where I was trying and
mm.
understand the environment that he works, and all that I supported. You will not believe, all that I supported was just in his communication, because I know that this
Yeah.
person is
Yeah.
very good tech. And what really
Mm,
happened is, just within 1 month of his entry into the new organization, he became
mm,
the most dependable person for his manager. His manager
mm.
always called him. There were numerous emails that thanked him, appreciated him for the work that he has done, and a lot of numerous appreciations that he has received. A lot of team
Mm.
members used to look up to him, and all of that just started happening as soon as
Right.
he got into the job. It's, I think, 1 year down the line that he is in the
Mm.
job. That has been an
Right.
absolute beautiful transformation that I
Mm.
have seen, and it is very close to my heart. So from
Right.
being fired for inadequate
Mm.
performance to going
Mm.
on and changing only one aspect, which is communication, has been a game
Mm.
changer for me as well.
Mm. Right. It's really inspiring. And also, Kavina, what role does body language play in building authority, and how can professionals master it?
Absolutely. You really nailed the question there, Shipra. If you look at the communication model, right, there is
Right.
7 38 55 model. So 7
Okay.
is basically the words that we use to communicate, and
Mm.
38 percentage is the tone of voice, the vocal variety that we use, and
Okay.
55, which is the biggest pie of your communication
Mm.
model, is
Mm.
attributed to the body language that we use to
Body language.
communicate. So that
Right.
is how important it is required for any professional or anybody to
Mm.
communicate with impact, authority, and everything. Now, going
Right.
on one step forward, now we
Mm.
understand how important is body language.
Right.
Now, there's something called as 10-10-10 rule. If you look at how
Okay.
to create impressions, it could be at
Mm.
work. It's a general rule. But if you
Mm.
look at the first 10 and the second 10 and the third 10, right? The first 10 talks
Mm.
about the first 10 feet when I look at you at a distance.
Okay.
What do we
Mm.
look at?
Okay.
Your presence,
Mm.
your posture,
Yeah.
how confidently are
Right.
you standing? And then
Mm.
I come closer to you. Shipran, the
Mm.
first 10 meters, right? I look at your
Right.
body language. How are you extending your hands to give me a handshake?
Mm.
How are you nicely
Mm.
smiling? What's the eye contact
Mm.
that you're giving? So that
Right.
again builds an impression on how confident, what kind of a
Mm.
professional Shipra is. The third
Right.
10 is the first 10 words that you utter out of your mouth. It could be
Oh.
greetings and then your self introduction. So, out of this
Right.
10-10-10, the first two tens largely
Mm.
talks about how you're
Mm.
presenting yourself in your body posture, in your
Mm.
gestures, in your eye
Mm.
contact, and everything. So, it is
Mm.
super essential for any corporate professional to be mastering their body language. And there are
Right.
widely a lot of body language, but it is super
Mm.
essential for them to understand that
Mm.
what is that something that I would like to tell
Right.
corporate professionals is to have a wide stance, to have a
Okay.
posture which is relaxed yet
Mm.
confident.
Yet
No
confident.
shrinking the shoulders, no crossing,
Mm.
because they say when
Mm.
you cross, you come across as a not so confident person. And to have that
Exactly.
smile just goes a long way. That's
Mm.
something that I tell
Right.
people, that just
Mm.
smile. It's
Mm.
as easy as you can just win the other person or win your presentation
Exactly.
or your meeting. And eye
Mm.
contact is also super important in
Super
meetings or
important.
absolutely. If there are one
Mm.
person or multiple people, how you
Mm.
maintain your eye contact really matters. So these are
Exactly.
certain body language that any
Mm.
corporate professional should be learning and refining it over time. Even the handshake, there are multiple handshakes, different kinds of
Mm.
handshakes that you're using, but
Okay.
the regular handshake that we have is something people
Mm.
should be learning and refining so that they come
Right.
across as a confident and an authoritative
Mm.
person.
Right. Exactly. And you explained it so in so I mean simple language that anybody who wants to, if they follow these 10-10-10 rule like you said, then I think they can improve a lot in their professional careers,
Absolutely.
right? And also, Kavina, how there are some introverted professionals also. So how can they confidently speak and lead with authority in their career?
That's a very inclusive question that you asked, Shibra. What I
Mm.
feel is the introverted professionals have their own strengths when it comes to communication. So
Right.
try and understand what are their strengths and leverage it to the best
Mm.
possible. And also look at what are certain places and occasions that they're not very comfortable and try and
Mm.
take small steps. So these are
Mm.
in combination going to work wonders for be it
Mm.
introverted professionals or extroverted professionals. So now let's
Mm.
talk about introverted professional.
Okay.
If you look at introverted professionals, they are
Mm.
absolute great listeners. And active
Right.
listening is a very important concept when it comes to communication, the most
Mm.
underrated also.
Mm.
I've read a
Mm.
book called The Forgotten Skill, and it is talking
Okay.
about active listening, and it's very
Mm.
important, when it comes to active listening. So this
Mm.
introverted professional, since they are very good at active listening, they should go
Mm.
on to listen more and create connections with people. So that is one.
Right.
The second thing
Mm.
that I look at introverted professional being very good, I'm just generalizing. There are a lot of
Okay.
people who carries their own strengths, but I'm just talking in general
Exactly.
right now. The
Mm.
second great strength is return communication. So starting to
Mm.
use the return communication to the best of their possibility, right? Writing emails, creating
Mm.
reports. These are several ways where they can come across as an authoritative professional in their work. So these
Right.
are leveraging. So if
Mm.
you look at what they can improve, is that I generally see that the introverted professionals are a little shy when it comes to networking or
Yes.
speaking in large gatherings, right?
Mm.
So the
Hmm.
first one is to actually, and networking is super important when it comes to the corporate
Definitely.
world. It
Exactly.
defines, they say your net worth is your net worth.
Net
So that's
worth.
how
Right.
important. So
Hmm.
trying and understanding that they're not very comfortable and taking
Hmm.
mild steps forward in connecting
Hmm.
to, creating interactions with their fellow workplace colleagues and
Hmm.
creating meaningful connections and start stimulating conversations with them and then move
Hmm.
on to larger gatherings is something that they
Right.
can be doing. The second thing, as I said, is speaking in a large gathering is also a little uncomfortable that I have seen out of my
Hmm.
experience with a introverted professional. So starting to talk about certain predetermined communication, and then
Right.
they slowly build confidence and move on to talk
Hmm.
big things, right? So
Hmm.
that's something that will
Right.
help introverted professionals as well. So these are
Hmm.
two things that I've always noticed,
Hmm.
and trying and leveraging their uh, strengths to the best advantage and trying and understanding what they can be working and taking mild and small steps, building confidence over time and moving to
Right.
larger things. Something
Hmm.
introverted professionals can do, Shipra, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
Right. And this is these are few things if they try, I think they would improve a lot and get confident
Absolutely.
also. Right. So,
Absolutely.
and Kavina, what's that one technique that people should use while uh, they want to influence in a meeting or in a presentation?
Okay. So one thing to be used by people in meeting and presentations, I've generally seen that one, people don't talk at all. Second,
Right.
if they talk, they go on talking.
Hmm.
So there are,
Hmm.
if I have to largely categorize, but
Hmm.
the approach that I would like people to take is to talk precisely and talk with a structure so that the message that you are giving is structured properly and precisely. So, generally, in a meeting, a
Exactly.
lot of people are there. It is important that we understand what is the message that we will have to give and give it in the shortest time possible. Otherwise, we are going to lose the attention of people. We all know that we
Right.
live in a society and time where we all
Yeah.
have the attention span of a goldfish, right?
Right.
Somebody
Exactly.
goes on
Hmm.
to talk, no matter that person speaks, every single word is worth of a gold. We just
Hmm.
lose it.
Right.
So, one technique that I would love for people to use in the meetings is that headline communication model. So it goes on like this: to start
Hmm.
with a headline as to what am I
Hmm.
trying to talk or
Hmm.
pitch or
Hmm.
communicate, and then
Hmm.
go on to the body with three main points. Three
Three
is
main
a
points.
number in communication, right? There are like three
Okay.
types of everything, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
universe says that talk in three and then you're winning the point. So that's how it is.
Mm.
So talk your body in terms of 3 points and very specifically mention my point number one, my point number two is, and
Two,
my point number three is.
three years.
And then go
Right.
to the tagline. Hey, in conclusion, this is what I
Mm.
would like to communicate and say
Mm.
with a call to action. For
Mm.
example, if you are presenting an idea for, let's say, creating KPIs for the project, so you go
Okay.
on and share that tagline. I would like to present a proposal to create KPIs for our project management strategies. Number
Mm.
one, I feel the KPI number this is important. Second is this,
Right.
third is this. And then comes the
Mm.
tagline. If you think this idea is worth
Mm.
investing our time
Mm.
in, I would like to
Mm.
spearhead this for you.
Mm.
You're taking the shortest span of time and you're very clearly communicating this. So this is some
Right.
one framework that I would be requesting people to start using
Start using.
and win
Right.
the meetings.
Exactly. So that's really amazing, I would say. And how do you think that technology like AI and virtual platforms like nowadays, ChatGPT, they are reshaping the way of communication in the corporate world?
Absolutely. I feel that the AI powered chatbots, as you mentioned, ChatGPT, and we also have these
Mm.
virtual platforms, they're
Right.
profoundly
Mm.
transforming the way we communicate and communication in the whole landscape, especially in
Mm.
corporate world.
Mm.
What are the key takeaways for me that I have seen in the last 1 to 2 years is
Mm.
that it just immensely helps us in increasing our efficiency in communication. The
Right.
chat GPT, or we have multiple other AI powered chatbots. They are
Hmm.
helping us write emails, summarize meetings. There's this AI
Yes.
companion which we get in
Right.
Zoom.
In our
So they are
phones.
all
Hmm.
helping us. Absolutely. They're all helping us create MOMs, right? So this,
Hmm.
to a greater level, what happens is it is creating a great automation model for our everyday communications, even
Right.
meeting handling, right?
Hmm.
So it is just
Hmm.
very easily taken care, and it
Hmm.
improves the efficiency of communication of our everyday corporate life. The second thing
Hmm.
that I see is that the virtual platforms, the Teams, the Slacks, and everything brings the
Hmm.
whole world together. Now we are sitting at the comfort of home and we are trying to
Exactly.
communicate across geographies
Right.
and
Right.
across time zones. And the world has now become like instantly I can connect with anybody across
Instantly
the world.
across the
And the
world.
globalization and the interconnectedness that we are
Hmm.
building in is just
Hmm.
amazing. Statistics says that 80% of people are interconnected globally. And that's the
Hmm.
power of AI and the whole revolution that has set in. Another
Right.
thing that I really love and fascinated about communication,
Hmm.
AI driven communication, is the
Hmm.
personalization that it
Of
brings.
course.
Speech
Right.
analytics is another thing which
Hmm.
comes in, right? It
Hmm.
can
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
embedded into our work as well. AI is
Hmm.
going to listen to us and come up and give us a lot of insights and feedback about the communication style, the
Communicate.
tone which we
Hmm.
are using, the kind of
Right.
clarity of messaging that we are giving. It can just give
Hmm.
us the feedback and then we can keep
Hmm.
on improving. I still remember one
Right.
of my colleague had
Hmm.
implemented or imported this speech analytics into the laptop,
Hmm. Hmm.
and immediately the meeting ends, the AI companion just goes on to tell that, hey,
Okay.
you used a lot of he and she. Maybe you should
Oh,
use
wow.
gender neutral pronouns. Can you believe
Right.
it? We never even think about
Right.
things of that
Exactly.
sort,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
It's just so amazing. So
Hmm.
imagine feedback like this
Hmm.
as a leader. You start addressing
Hmm.
people as they and not he or she. It's going to
Hmm.
be more inclusive of an environment. And these are certain things which we can use to our
Hmm.
greatest advantage. But
Advantages.
having
Exactly.
that said, all the advantages comes with disadvantages as well.
Yeah.
What I
Right.
also see is people overly dependent on ChatGPT.
Chat
Now, when I
GPT.
read emails, I'm not reading an email from the person.
Hmm.
Shipra, if you're from my generation, when we read letters, right, we generally
Right.
read letters
Exactly. Yes.
with the
Hmm.
voice. If you are sending me a
Hmm.
letter, I'm not reading from Gabina's voice, I'm reading from Shipra's voice. We're all from
Right.
such a generation. Now, if
Yes.
I have to read emails, I'm reading emails from ChatGPT. So that's
Chat
that
GPT.
personal connect is missing. So I only
Yes.
want to request people to take
Hmm.
support and groom ourselves in communication, but not to be overly dependent that sometimes we
Oh,
lose our voice. Let's
exactly.
use it to our advantage. That's something that I wanted to
Right.
leave on.
Right. Yeah, this is very important because we get so dependent on ChatGPT or AI that we forget that we also need to add that personal touch to everything that we say, right?
Absolutely.
And what role does tonality play in communication?
Tonality goes a long way. When I coach my team members, I say
Hmm.
that the first thing that I always tell the bedrock of communication
Hmm.
is that it's not
Hmm.
about what you do, it's all about how you make the other person feel. And that how
Feel.
part is
Hmm.
also related to the communication. And in
Hmm.
communication, it is not always about what
Hmm.
you say, it is also
Hmm.
about how you say it. And
How
how
you.
part has a large dependency to the tonality that you use. The same
Hmm.
thing if I have to tell, I may also request you, Shipra, and blah blah. Or then
Hmm.
I create that tonality where I really mean what I mean, and I could
Hmm.
make an instant human connection with you. And that human connection can be made with tonality more than
Right.
anybody could make with the words. So
Hmm.
tonality just goes a long way.
Hmm. Exactly. And could you advise one technique or one advice you would give that people can improve their tonality? Because as you said, it is very important.
Absolutely. One thing is to keep a emotional check on ourselves as to what
Okay.
emotional state that I am in. Is this
mm,
emotional state required for that communication? Is the first
mm.
thing that I would ever think about. If you're in a very difficult conversation, take check-ins.
Okay.
It's okay. Take a pause and come back and have that conversation. If you're in a
Mm,
large meeting room, what
mm.
I would say is to mirror the tone for the
Okay.
energy and vibration of the room that you are in. Not all the
Right.
meetings are the same meetings. There could be grievance meeting, there could
Yes.
be
Mm.
feedback meeting, there could be
Right.
fun meeting where you have to be
Mm,
all up and energetic.
mm,
There could also
mm,
be severe or intense brainstorming sessions. It could
mm,
be anything. The most
mm,
important part is that we try and understand what kind of meeting and then
mm.
adjust our tone and tonality to it. If it's a grievance
Right.
meeting, come across as a person who actively
Mm,
listens and then
right.
use the words and tone in a way that the other person means to you. If
Mm,
you're in a meeting where you are having fun, some employee engagement initiatives, be upbeat.
mm.
Keep your tone
Okay.
as high as possible,
As
be
high.
humorous,
Yes.
be upbeat,
Mm,
and that's going to get you as a leader or a team member connected to the rest of the team members. So likewise,
right.
it goes for the other occasions
Mm,
as well. And
mm,
understanding which meeting you are in
mm,
and tuning your tone according
mm.
to the meeting is super important.
Super important. Right. So it means that we need to change our tonality according to the room in which we are.
Absolutely. And
Right.
changing tonality is super important. I call it tone architecture. When
Okay.
I say
Wow.
tone
Sounds nice.
architecture, I go on to
Mm,
tell people that the tone of your voice and
mm.
the words that you're speaking and your body language should
Right.
completely reflect which meeting
Reflect.
that you are in, the energy
Right.
and vibe of the meeting or the other
Mm.
person. It could be one-on-one meeting as well. You can't be
Yes.
upbeat in a grievance meeting, or you
Mm.
cannot be very low and empathetic in an employee engagement initiative. You will not
Mm.
come across as the leader or the team member that people want to connect with. So, if you want to
Right.
instantly connect with people, inspire people, it is super important that we keep a check tone
Mm.
and body language
Mm.
and even the choice of words.
Mm. Right. So it is really important. And also, Kavina, what's your best advice that you have received about leadership through communication?
Leadership through communication. One great thing that I have come across is that great
Mm.
leaders don't just communicate to be understood, they
Mm.
communicate to inspire. So, this is something which
Right.
constantly keeps running at the back of my mind. And I've
Mm.
always believed that leadership is not always about decision makings, strategies, and
Mm.
going on to do a lot about your organization and goals and all of that. Leadership
Mm.
is a very simple act of creating that connection with your team members that motivates action, building
Mm.
trust, aligning people with the shared vision. And
Mm.
all of it can be done with empathy being the key. And communication is a vehicle where you can
Mm.
share your empathy with other people and
Mm.
create that bond and connection with people. So that's
Mm.
something I learned in leadership. And that's why I
Mm.
also talk about communication driven leadership because communication is the
Right.
main vehicle which you connect with people.
Mm. Exactly. It is the bridge, I think, between two people, communication.
Absolutely. You very well said that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much, Kavina, for sharing your valuable wisdom, your practical tips, techniques on how we can communicate around leadership, around tonality. I mean, you share so much and in so simple language that anybody could understand and be confident in their professional career or corporate jobs. So, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Shupra. Thanks for having me here. And it was wonderful, such great opportunity in sharing my thoughts and learned wisdom over time. And it was
Right.
absolutely amazing to have you host me here. Thank you
Mm.
very much.
Thank you so much. And I like that tone architect. You say na? Tonality architect.
Tone architecture, yes.
Yeah. It was something new which I really
Absolutely. Those are
so
certain things that I keep talking about in my
mm,
LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram, where I
mm,
give certain small tips but what goes a long way when practiced
Hmm.
religiously. So, tone
Hmm.
architecture is one such where I swear by when it
Hmm.
comes to communication.
Right. So anybody, if they want to improve their communication or in professional career or in corporate, they can contact you. So please give your details so that I can add in the description. Okay.
Absolutely. I
So
shall share with
thank
you
you
the
so much.
social media profile.
Yes. Thank you so much and thank you everyone for watching. Thank you.
Thank you, Shipra. Bye.